Good morning. Welcome to One Sleigh at a Time. Of course, I am April, and this is my channel that I use to discuss all things related to recovery, all things to living a life in recovery, all things related to being sober. Today is I want to say the 28th of October, but I would need to verify that because sometimes all of my days just kind of blend together, and I haven't started writing the date yet, and that's usually when it works itself out in my head, is once I start to write it down. Anywho, today's the 28th of October, and for me this is a very busy time of year in a good way. My reselling business usually is like off the charts, super cool, super busy, super profitable at this time of year, except for right now I'm not doing nearly as good as I was doing a year ago. But I have to be gentle with myself and remind myself that a year ago this was probably a month after I walked away from my full-time job and I didn't have anything else to do. So I mean, if you're just reselling, it's a little bit easier to put up impressive numbers than if you have a full-time job as well, which, as most of you know, if you don't know, I do have a full-time job and I also resell. And so I say all of that to say this is normally a great time of year for me because I'm really busy, and being busy in my world is really, really good because once I have too much idle time on my hands, my mind starts to get all squirrely, and I start to think of things that, you know, I could do to entertain myself. I'm like the type of person who never needs to be left to my own devices to like entertain myself. That never ends well. So what I do is I tend to stay busy all the time. And it's really easy for me to stay busy in October, November, December. But the main reason I'm shooting this video is because I wanted to share something with you guys that kind of struck me today. And it's something that I wanted to share, and this is like the best place that I could think of to share it. So every morning I wake up about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I get my son up first because I have a soon-to-be 13-year-old son, and he's not a morning person. He's never here for the morning, and he just drags his feet. At 6:30 I wake my daughter up and I get her ready for daycare. But my daughter is super easy to get ready. It literally takes me 15 minutes and we have time to spare. But I don't do myself the horrible disservice of waking them up together, because that just wouldn't end well for me. It just wouldn't be cool, because Brandon and Kennedy together is just too much for anybody to endure in one morning. So I woke my kids up, and as I'm getting my little girl dressed for her date with the nanny, which I call daycare, I pull out her clothes. I have her little jeans, because she's a 2-year-old, so everything's tiny. I have her jeans and her underwear and her socks and her shirt, and then I open her closet to get her shoes and a coat, because she needs a coat. It's cold today. And I like had this moment where I was absolutely overwhelmed by gratitude, and here's why. I opened my daughter's closet, and there literally are 2 hanging like cubby cases, whatever you want to call those. And then she has like a closet extender because she has like 2 racks of clothes. And I'm not a person that needs things in order to feel happy. As a reseller, I have things, I sell things, things come, things go. I have no attachment to them, which is how I often end up selling the clothes that I wear. So things hold no value to me. But what struck me this morning as I was looking in my daughter's closet is how well I've been able to provide for her and be a mother for her. And my daughter has never known me drunk. She has never seen me drunk. My daughter has never known the feeling of not having anything. And that's only by the grace of God. And honestly, if I could pray for any single thing, I would pray that as long as I'm raising my kids, I'm able to do for them in such a way that they never have to wonder or think what it's like to not have. And here's the reason. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about my childhood and how I grew up, and without getting into the specifics of my childhood, a lot of different aspects of it made it really, really, really rough. And even as a young child, a preteen, a teenager even, I was deeply unhappy. And I felt like I was always missing out on something. But the one thing that I remember that made my existence on this earth a lot harder than it needed to be was that I never really had the things that I needed. I never really had those basic things in the way that I needed them. I'm going to give you an example. I remember once when my aunt came home with a pair of shoes for me. And I want to say the shoes might have been like an 8.5, possibly a 9. But at this time, there's no way that my foot was anything less than a size 10. There's just no way. And growing up as a teenager, as a kid, I remember that it was basically, this is what we're giving you. You can take it and you can hush your mouth. And that's that. And that was my life, you know? And it's like, how was I going to protest? Like, I was a child, so I couldn't protest. I just took what was given to me as it was given to me, and I didn't question it. And when you're a child, that's all you know. Like, you don't have anything to compare it to. You don't have friends when you're 3 or 4 that you can compare notes with, typically. So that's the one thing that really stuck out so far to me about my day, is that I have, through my sobriety, through the grace of God, through the 12 steps, through a program of recovery, I have been able to provide a life to my children that I honestly never thought possible. I never thought that I would be the mom that I am to my son, because my son has seen me drunk. He won't have much to say about it now, but he has. But I never thought that we would have the relationship that we have. And sometimes it's really difficult. Me and Brandon do not always get along. Sometimes the things that I say, like, we don't always get along. But my son, before he goes to school every day, he tells me that he loves me. And he initiates that, and he does. Because my son he knows that I'll do anything for him. And my daughter is just, you know, she's my princess. She's my little girl that I 6 years ago would have never thought that I was going to have. And so I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful, and I'm really humbled by the life that I have today. It is so much better than anything that I would have ever imagined for myself. And the life that I have today is what reminds me that I have to continue to work to maintain my sobriety and my recovery, because without my sobriety, none of this is possible. So I thank you guys for listening to me ramble a little bit today. As always, I encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. If you do have any comments, please leave those down below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. I do try to respond to all comments. And if inclined, you can always shoot me an email. I always leave that door open as well. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, you can email me. I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you for tuning in. Bye.